hard. But fate is a cruel jester. On the first day of the Jiaokao, after the math exam, a distraught Fang Hu told Chen Shun that she had been so nervous. She had failed to solve the final 13-point question, fearing she would no longer be able to attend the same university as him. Seeing the girl he loved so disheartened, Chen Shun made a decision that would change the course of their lives forever. During the final physics exam, he deliberately left blank another 13-point question. One he actually knew how to solve. With this self-righteous sacrifice, he forcibly closed the gap between their scores. Chen Shun's decision to throw away those 13 points is one of the most controversial moments in the entire film. On the surface, it seems like the ultimate romantic sacrifice, but at its core, it represents an extremely unhealthy form of individual heroism. Instead of encouraging Fang Hui and helping her overcome her difficulties, he chose a self-sabotaging path just to stay on her level. I believe this isn't true love, but rather a manifestation of his need for control. He wanted a future where the two were bound together, rather than one where two independent individuals grow together. This decision also foreshadowed the emotional imbalance that would later plague them. At night, news of Beijing's successful Olympic bid sparked nationwide celebration. Amidst the fireworks and cheers, they made a lifelong vow, believing that once they grew up, they could be together forever. Little did they know adulthood was when the real trials would begin. Chen Shun and Fang Hui made it into the same university as they had hoped. Yet the distance between them grew wider than ever before. The campus was so vast that it felt as if they were losing one another. Despite being at the same school, their romance felt like a long-distance relationship. With his good looks and musical talent, Chen Shun remained the center of attention in college. During the military training talent show, he drew cheers from countless girls, and some even took the initiative to approach him. Meanwhile, Fang Hui remained that same quiet and introverted girl, silently watching from the crowd, never daring to step forward. A while after the semester began, Chen Shun went to visit Fang Hui, only to find that her roommates didn't even know he was her boyfriend. Fang Hui's world was still tiny, barely large enough for Chen Shun. But Chen Shun's world was expanding rapidly. That's when he met Shen Xiaotang, a girl as bright and passionate as fire. If Fang Hui was the solid ground that gave Chen Shun stability and belonging, then Shen Xiaotang was the bird that could soar alongside him. They played music and sang together, sharing the same passions. This spiritual resonance drew them closer almost instantly. As they spent less time together, Fang Hui's roommates began to suspect that Chen Shun's heart had strayed, yet she stubbornly chose to believe until one day she saw Chen Shun and Shen Xiaotang eating together with her own eyes. Lacking the courage to confront them, she chose to run away instead. Later, she summoned the courage to call Chen Shun, but he missed it, preoccupied with playing music with Shen Xiaotang. By the time Chen Shun called back, Fang Hui had fallen from her upper bunk in her rush to answer the phone. She injured her leg, but she didn't tell him, and Chen Shun didn't call again, not until Fang Hui's birthday. When he finally hurried over and saw the injury on her leg, overwhelmed with guilt, he apologized incessantly. Fang Hui stubbornly pushed him away, hobbling down the stairs on her own. Watching Fang Hui's retreating figure, Chen chased after her, as she tearfully delivered an ultimatum that was also a desperate plea.
If one day you fall in love with someone else, you must tell me.
This sentence foreshadowed the complete collapse of their relationship. Torn between guilt and confusion, Chen Shun crossed paths with Shen Xiaotang once more. He vented his emotions through music after the passion-peaked Shen Xiaotang kissed him, and he did not pull away. He was torn between craving Shen Xiaotang's fire and clinging to Fang Hui's tenderness. Caught in this wavering state, he gradually became a two-timer. Soon after the university held its New Year's Eve gala, Fang Hui decided to go because Chen Shun had once promised that he would perform on stage for her, singing the song he wrote specifically for her. But when she saw Shen Xiaotang standing on stage alongside Chen Shun, all her expectations instantly crumbled into utter despair. She walked out of the auditorium without looking back into the snowy night and dialed Chen Shun's number.
Do you like Shen Xiaotang?
I don't know. Amidst the heavy snowfall, Fang Hui stumbled back to the poplar tree from their high school days. Desperately brushing off the snow, she stared at the handwriting that felt both familiar and strange. While the past vows still echoed in her ears, everything had changed now. On that freezing, snowy night, she wept her heart out. Life after the breakup was an agonizing struggle. Using the pretext of returning a book, Fang Hui went to the boys' dorm to find Chen Shun, only to learn from his roommate that Chen Shun was already living off campus with Shen Xiaotang. This news was the final straw that utterly broke her. Refusing to give up, she ran to the apartment building where they lived. She saw them with her own eyes, walking upstairs arm in arm, chatting and laughing. She stood downstairs all night watching the lights in her room flicker on and then off, not leaving until the following morning feeling completely numb. In June 2002, Qiao Ran returned to China and the five friends reunited. The atmosphere at dinner was frigid and awkward. After a few drinks, a tipsy Fang Hu humbly begged Chen Shun to reconcile. Faced with her tearful plea to stay, Chen Shun finally uttered those words, the last thing he wanted to hear. I'm sorry. These three words were like a cold verdict, completely ending every possibility they once had, driven to the depths of despair. Fang Hu made a decision that she would regret for the rest of her life. She invited Guangqiang Chen Shun's cynical roommate to a hotel, and in a self-destructive act gave away her most precious possession. It wasn't out of love or even strictly for revenge. She simply wanted to use the most tragic way to personally tear apart the image of the pure and beautiful Fang Hu in Chen Shun's memory. When Chen Shun found out from Guangqiang's boasting, he lost his mind. He pinned Guangqiang to the ground and beat him mercilessly, then ran through the pouring rain to confront Fang Hui.
Do you love him? I love you, but you can sleep with me.
This conversation was fraught with misunderstanding and pain. Chen Shun thought Fang Hui was retaliating against him, while Fang Hui was actually mourning their dead love in the most devastating way. Fang Hui's revenge is the most heartbreaking part of the entire film. I don't think it was just an impulse, it was the result of long-term repression. In her helplessness, it was the only way she could think of to hurt Chen Shun while also destroying herself. This also serves as a reminder for us in real life. Speak up about your needs, your grievances, and your fears. Don't leave the other person guessing. It only leads to misunderstanding and exhaustion. The cruelty of fate didn't stop there soon. Fang Hui discovered she was pregnant. This unexpected life became the final straw that broke her. Outside the cold operating room, a numb Chen Shun stared at the surgical consent form. Looking at the family signature line, he felt nothing but endless regret and powerlessness. His hand trembled as he signed his name, a gesture dripping with irony. In his capacity as an ex-boyfriend, he exercised the rights of a guardian for a child that wasn't even his. On the operating table, Fang Hui refused any anesthesia. She wanted to use this piercing pain to firmly etch today's humiliation and suffering into her memory. After the surgery, Fang Hui was deathly pale, too weak to even stand. Filled with agonizing regret, Chen Shun pulled her tightly into his arms. This embrace came far too late in Chen Shun's arms. Fang Hui clung to that final trace of warmth, but she also knew that there was no going back. They once had everything, but they lacked a future they could walk into together. In the end, Fang Hui stubbornly pushed him away and walked out of his life. And just like that, they drifted apart forever in those fleeting years. The story concludes at a wedding in 2014. Chen Shun is no longer that bright, sunshiny boy, but an adult showing the weary marks of the world. The photographer Chi-Chi gave Chen Shun a disc and told him to watch it until the end.
Is there anything else you want to say to Fang Hui?
Fang Hui. The disc contained a wedding video. When the scene switched to a bridge in Paris, a figure both familiar and distant appeared on the screen. It was Fang Hu. Standing on that bridge in a foreign land, she had a faint, serene smile. Time didn't seem to have left many marks on her face, but her eyes held a sense of composure and peace she never had before. The camera finally lingers on Chen Shun's face, filled with shock, remorse, and endless longing as the movie comes to an end, leaving behind an open ending and a lingering sense of sorrow. When we watch Fleet of Time, it's no longer just to witness the joys and sorrows of a first love, but to find the fragments of our own youth within the story of Chen Shun and Fang Hu. We often wonder if Chen Shun had never said those words. I wonder if Fang Hui had felt a bit more secure and practiced less self-depletion, would the ending have been different? But youth has no what-ifs. Those thoughtless words that cause pain, those unspoken acts of forgiveness, and those humbled pleas for reconciliation ultimately turned into regrets that can never be mended. Some say the beauty of youth often lies in its very imperfection. So in reality, when facing a relationship crisis, please look inward first. Could the Shen Xiaotang who makes your heart waver simply possess something that your partner cannot offer at the moment? As for Qiao Ran, who has always protected you in silence, have you taken his preciousness for granted out of habit? One of the heavy costs of youth is that we often mistake passion for the entirety of love, while overlooking the fact that respect, understanding, and companionship are the true foundations that sustain a relationship. We may be unable to change the past, but we can learn from their story how to navigate every step of the future with more wisdom. Don't let our youth turn into a movie where we have no regrets for the dream, but only regret the haste.